Boxing this Saturday, October 12th at the First Direct Arena right here in Leeds. It is all being brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions, along with their great sponsors, 32 Red and Foot Asylum. Tickets can be purchased through Ticketmaster or at the First Direct Arena box office. And if you can't join us at the arena, you can watch it live on BT Sport and in the United States on ESPN+. Well, at this time, I'm going to introduce to you our panel, beginning with two gentlemen who will be competing in a 12-round contest this Saturday, and it will be for the vacant Commonwealth Light Heavyweight Championship. First, he comes to us from Accra, Ghana. He brings a record of 14 wins, 2 defeats, 1 draw, 12 wins by knockout. Let's welcome Emmanuel Horsepower Anim. And his opponent this Saturday night from Moston, undefeated with 15 wins, 12 come by way of knockout. Let's welcome Lyndon King Arthur. Our next two competing this Saturday in a 12-round contest. It will be for the Commonwealth Super Featherweight Championship. First, he comes to us from Cambus, Lang, Scotland. He brings a record of 18 wins, 6 defeats, 1 draw, 4 wins by knockout. Let's welcome the challenger, Jordan Jordy McCory. And the defending champion from Manchester, 22 wins, just 1 defeat, 13 wins by knockout. Let's welcome the Commonwealth champion, Zelfa Brown Flash Barrett. And we welcome on the panel Sean O'Hagan, the trainer and father of Josh Warrington, and also Hall of Fame promoter Frank Warren. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our main event this Saturday night at the First Direct Arena is scheduled for 12 rounds, and it will be for the IBF Featherweight Championship of the World. Let's welcome from Ardennes, France. He brings a professional record of 35 wins, 3 defeats, 1 draw, 13 wins by knockout. He is the former European and IBF International Featherweight Champion. Let's welcome Sofiane Babyface Takoucht. And now we welcome the defending world champion. This will be his 3rd world title defense. He is undefeated with 29 wins, 6 come by way of knockout. From right here, Leeds, England, here is Josh, the Leeds Warrior, Warrington. And I now hand things over to the host of today's press conference, Mr. John Rawling.
Thank you, Thomas, and thank you, everybody, for being here today and coming and sharing in the preamble to what we're sure is going to be another terrific night at the First Direct Arena. It's going to be, I think I'm right in saying, the 10th time that Josh has fought there, and it's going to be a very special night, I'm sure, always one of the great atmospheres in boxing when Josh takes to the ring here in Leeds. You really know how to get behind him, and it makes it a very special occasion. Promoter, of course, is Frank, and it's great to be back here again with Josh heading the bill.
It certainly is. You know, for me, one of the most exciting fighters in the world, the best in his division, and he's fighting in front of his home fans again at the arena. And I think we're going to get a cracking fight again. He's got to be at the top of his game. He's got to really work hard to come through this, and I hope he comes through it, and then we can look at the unification and try to get back at Leeds United, back to Ellen Road again. But this, we don't want it to be a banana skin. He's got to be 100% for this one.
Well, that's always the possibility with boxing, isn't it? You can't take anything for granted.
Well, you look over the last 6-7 months, you've had a situation where Anthony Joshua and Ruiz, going into that fight, Anthony Joshua was a massive favourite. We all know what happened. Even Tyson Fury against Wallin a couple of weeks ago, he was just moments away from a referee may have stopping it because of the bad cut he had. Again, his superior boxing skills got him through, but that cut nearly upset his rematch. And then even this last weekend, you look at Golovkin and Dereshevkin, I can't pronounce his name properly, but you look at that fight, there was nothing in that. I thought that the other guy actually might have just edged it. So he's got to be, which I know he will be, Josh, 100% top of his game and cannot afford to take his eye off the ball. And I know his dad, Sean won't allow him to have done that anyway, but he's got to be 100%.
We'll talk in more detail about the main event in a moment or two, but as you've heard, we've got the principal undercard fights represented up here as well, and it's good to see a strong undercard, not only a good world title fight here, a genuine world title fight, but also a couple of decent undercard fights, and indeed a strong bill all the way down the list.
It is. It's a cracking card. I mean, I think we've delivered to the fans over the last few years with our strong undercards, and again, we're doing the same thing here on Saturday. The guys are here, all sitting at the table. I'm sure they're going to give their views on where they're going, where they're going with the fight. But Lyndon is he's tapping on the door now. Again, in this country, the light heavyweight division is a very lively division, and I'm sure he'll be looking to make his mark in that. And Pat Barrett's done a fantastic job with him, bringing him through. And then you've got a great fight between Zelfa and you've got old Jordan here. He's never, I love him on our shows. He's
never in a dull fight,
absolute competitor. I've never seen a guy give so much as he does. So he's going to be coming and giving his usual 150%. So we've got, those two fights are really good quality fights.
Well, let's just welcome, before we hear from Lyndon, Emmanuel Amin, over here fighting for the first time in the UK, yeah?
Yes.
And what are your thoughts on this one? It's a Commonwealth title fight, vacant light heavyweight title fight, and a great opportunity for you.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for me because I've been waiting for this for a very long time. And this is a great opportunity for me to take this title. I know Ledonata is not he's an average boxer to me, but he haven't fought somebody like me before his life. So we are going to see what will happen. I think I'm going to take the title from him.
You say he's an average boxer. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, average boxer means haven't fought any credible fighter, boxer before in his career. And I've been in 2 countries, and the results coming out of where I went wasn't bad. And I think if I compare myself to him, I think I'm better than him.
So what do you regard as your principal strengths as a fighter? What's Lyndon got to look forward to?
Okay, I can't predict now, but I think the ring will decide.
Sorry, say that again, please.
I can't predict what will happen. Like, even though if he proves stubborn, then I think it's going to be a punishment for him. But if he give up, then I think he's free.
Well, let's hear from Lyndon. He's ready for you.
He is. He sounds confident, which I'm glad. I don't want to walk over opponent, and he seems like he's come for the win. But there's no way on earth that he, in any department, is better than me. So I don't know where he's got that information from. I have no idea.
Have you had a chance to see him at all?
I've seen a couple of his fights. I've watched. I don't really like to watch my opponents too much, but obviously being my first title fight and whatnot, I've looked a little bit on Emmanuel and him, and I've studied him a little bit.
Frank alluded to it when we were doing the introductions first up. Your division at the moment, there's some real talent in the UK. Anthony Yard, obviously, but other good guys below that, people like Buatsi, and you're right up there as one of the people with a great opportunity on Saturday night to make a statement. Yeah,
of course. I mean, when I win this Commonwealth title, I'm right behind them guys, and I'm sure them fights will be made, be great fights in the future. But right now we focus on Emmanuel and him and get him out of there.
Tell us about working with Pat, who's sort of a bit of a legend up in Manchester. Tell us about him as a trainer and how it all works out.
Yeah, you know, it's I guess same as every other trainer, is militant and a perfectionist. So we're in the gym 24/7, and we're constantly working, we're constantly perfecting our craft, and you know, he's got me to where I am now, and he will take me all the way, I believe. So we're working greatly.
And of course, a training partner of Zelfa.
Yeah, Zelfa,
How do you get on together?
Yeah, me and Zelfa are family. I mean, we might get at each other's necks 24/7, but we are family, and we push each other to the limit all the time. So it's great for me.
And so many terrific fighters from Manchester over the years. You've been a pro now for what, three years or thereabouts?
Yeah, just past 3 years.
And a chance to follow some pretty big names.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of great fighters from the country itself. So I'm just trying to make my legacy in that as well.
Who do you look up to? Who do you see as role models apart from the man down here, Pat Barrett? Who do you see as who do you
in
admire?
boxing?
Yeah.
Just all the greats, Muhammad Ali, Zelfa, yeah, Roy Jones. You know, just all the great classic boxer fighters that that have been great over the years.
He says he's ready for you. Have you got any message, maybe, just to
I
pass
hope
to him?
I hope he is. I hope he is, because he says there's no one I've fought. He's not fought anybody at all. There's no one he's fought that I would not have knocked out, that he's gone the rounds with. There's nobody. So I don't get where he's got the information from, but I'm happy to listen to it.
Emmanuel, anything to say?
Yeah, I heard him what he was saying, but he think I'm nobody. But
I don't think you're nobody. I'm saying you've never fought nobody like me.
yeah, I never fought nobody. That's what you are saying. You said I've never fought nobody. But
and the person you have fought.
and I went to Russia. They just told me I went today and tomorrow I'm fighting. That's what happened. That's why I lost when I went to Russia.
Yeah, you got beat.
He said I'm nobody, but I'm going to show you I'm somebody.
I can see you somebody, but you got beat.
You don't know me. That's why you are talking like that.
You,
if you know me well, like you will say what you are saying. If you want to know more about me, you can ask Joshua, Obuase, and Leron Richard. They know me very well. And I fought them in amateur before in Ghana.
That's amateur. This is a different world.
Okay, you can say whatever you want to say. But I know we will meet Saturday. So I'll prove what I have for you.
We will see. That's the Commonwealth Lights Heavyweight fight for the vacant title on Saturday. Lyndon from Manchester against the man here, Emmanuel from Accra, and certainly they've talked a good fight. We wait to see what's produced in the ring. Now, alongside them, we have defending his Commonwealth Super Featherweight title, Zelfa Barrett, against Geordie McCorry, who, as Frank said, never seems to have a dull fight. It's got the makings, this one, Frank.
Sure, it's a cracker, isn't it? You know it's going to be a good fight. They're both skillful boxers, they're both competitors, and we're going to see something, I think, a little bit special on Saturday.
Geordie went in at late notice against Sam Bowen and got stopped eventually in 9 rounds, but I think Sam, if he was sitting here now, would admit that he gave him a hard fight, didn't he?
He certainly did. There's no doubt about that. And, as you say, came in last moment. He's had time to prepare for this fight.
And went the distance with Archie Sharp, who, as we all know, is starting to make real waves in this division. Geordie coming into this wanting to get a W after 2 brave performances, but you, I guess, want to show that you're more than that.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I've put everything into this camp. Everything's went well. I'm feeling good. Weight's good. Everything's going right for me. So I'm going out there to get a win.
You've obviously seen him box. He's a slick technician.
Yeah, I respect him. He's a good boxer. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get into the top 10 in Britain and stuff like that if you're not like a good boxer. So, and then obviously he's won against Leon Bustock. He boxed very well and stuff like that. But I think I can definitely cause him problems. Know what I mean? If I stick to the game plan, for sure.
He's won defeat against Ronnie Clark, another Scotsman. I guess you'll have watched that one pretty closely.
Yeah, My coaches watched it definitely, and there's a bit of a blueprint to how you beat my wee bit there, you know what I mean? Like, Ronnie's a good boy, definitely, and showed a lot of flaws in his defence and him as a boxer.
I'm sure Zelfa would say that he's learned from that and come on from that.
Aye, definitely. You can see when he fought Woodstock, obviously he's learnt a lot. He's went back to the gym and worked harder. So, and that's the exact same as me when I fought Bowen and Sharp. I get beat. I was back to the gym working harder. And like for me, this could possibly be my last chance. So I'm giving everything I've got to it.
Are you mentally saying this has got to be the one? This has got to be the one I come through.
For me, I put everything into this camp. I've went away sparring and just everything's gone right. I'm in the right mindset. Everything's went well this camp. I'm feeling 100%. And as Frank Nat said, I'll be there giving 150% Saturday night.
Zelfa, you've heard that. You listened to it. You know what he's about. I mean, they don't come any more game than this, man.
Tough.
Yeah, well, no, we already expected what he was going to do. I already know he's going to throw the kitchen sink at me. He's going to give 150%. This is the reason why we wanted this fight. You know, he's going to bring the best out of me. I'm glad they watched the Clark fight, because they hate me. So, and whatever they think they can do, you know, I'm excited because I believe in myself. And you know, I'm no Sharp and I'm no Sam Bowen. I'm none of them. And I respect him too. And he's got a good little team around him. But I believe I'm the best in my weight division, and they'll see. The better he comes, the harder he comes, the little game plans they think they can do, I'll execute differently.
How do you think the Zelfa Barrett of now compares with the guy who lost to Ronnie Clark? What have you actually taken from that defeat and added?
Prepared well. Mindset's great. You know, there was two different fighters against Clark and Woodstock. Looked different. You know what I mean? So it is what it was. It's made me a better person, but you know, I'm excited for Saturday. That's just turned me on. Him saying he's gonna come 100% and whatever. Give everything up. Cool. I want it.
And remember, Ronnie Clark didn't want the rematch. We had a contract with it and whatever. It never happened.
It's a terrific division, isn't it? You've already mentioned Leon Woodstock. He never has a dull fight. You've mentioned Sam Bowen, who's there as well. Archie. I mean, there's some real talent within Britain at that level.
Yeah, of course. There's some good fighters, great fighters in that weight division. But for order for me to get where I need to be, next to my older brother, I'll call it, I need to be dismantling these kind of people. And you know, I believe I'm a good fighter. I believe I can be world level. So you know, it is what it is. Saturday, I'm going to win.
Are you under pressure, do you believe, to really look good on Saturday night, to get yourself lined up for these big fights in the future? Talk about Sam Bowen, assuming that he's still there undefeated when you're ready to fight him. That's presumably one that you'd really look at.
Of course, you know, but I'm not overlooking Jordan. You know, I know he's a good fighter. I know he's going to come bring it, but I'll just be me. I'll just turn up Saturday and do what I've got to do. Whatever the outcome, I will win. So there's no pressure. You know, this pressure's of life, waking up every day. So, you know, it's nothing. He's a good fighter and I respect him.
Respect from him. Respect from you?
Aye, definitely. I said that he's a good boxer and stuff like that, but like if I want to obviously get the W, then I need to show what I'm all about Saturday, and that's what I'm going to do.
So people who are looking for the little upset, as people do, you'd say, look at you.
Aye, definitely, 100%, aye.
Good fights, another one, and we look forward to that. That's two cracking undercard fights, and our main event now, Josh against Sofiane, and Josh has got that sort of special man of the people feel when you come up here, hasn't he, Frank?
Well, he is. He hasn't lost his roots, that's for sure. And every time we come back here, you know, I know how thrilled he is to box in front of his home fans. It's always a pleasure. You know, between all of us, we've built a great situation up here, haven't we? You know, with the resurgence of boxing in Leeds, and we're going to continue to move forward with that. And the name of the game is now, hopefully there's no banana skin here if he comes through, which I have every confidence he will, because I think he's the best out there. I think he's the best in the division out of all the champions. He comes through this, and we're looking to get to Ellen Road again. As I said earlier, this is what it's all about. But he's got got to focus on this, as I know he will do, and he's fighting the highest available contender in the IBF. They get ranked number 1 and 2, and this guy's the next one in.
Well, Josh, you've got your friends, fans here right now here in Leeds, and many more, I'm sure, watching online. Tell us how you're feeling as you're coming up now towards its third defence of your title.
I'm feeling as well as I look, as well as I've dressed. I mean, I tell you what, this shirt's a bit rascal, isn't it? What do you think?
A little bit.
Is it yeah or nay? What are we saying? Yeah, go on. Get away with it. Get away with it. Says you in your shell suit. You know what? It's been another good camp, and it's easy to say that constantly. You know, building up to the fight. Easy to speak in front of media and say, yeah, everything's gone to plan. But certainly the build-up of the last fight, I think that we took our eye off a few things because we were so concentrated on unification fights after Galahad, just beating Galahad up anyway, putting up with his nonsense, and I think it took our eye off the ball in a few certain areas of training. This time round, all I've done is focus on Takoucht and Takoucht only, and not looked beyond that. Yeah, there's talks about fights what could potentially happen. You know, there's talks about going back to Ellen Road. There's talks about unification fights, but this time round, all the focus has been on this fight and this fight only, and I've not been looking past this one. And camp as well. Camp's been really, really good. There's been a good vibe. I mean, you know, my training team's amongst here, scattered about, and they'll echo everything I'm saying. You know, there's been a very, very good vibe to training, and 4 days away now, 3 days away, and I get to showcase, you know, what we're really about. And certainly after, you know, the last fight, I want to come back with a A-class performance. You know, Selby, Frampton, fights of the years. And you know, the last one, cuddling contest, but you know, we're going to this next one to trying to deliver what we know we're capable of doing, and that's an A-class performance.
Sean, after the last fight, which I suppose you've got to look at as at best frustrating, how difficult was it to lift Josh up again and say, right, that's happened, move on, go again?
I think as just echoing what Josh said there, I think what we did, we became a little bit too familiar. Back at Arena, another fight, maybe took his eye off ball a little bit. But that last fight, I think, even though he's world champion, it was a good learning fight. And what we've done this time is we've prepared in case that ever happens again. We've left no stone unturned. We've got to come back and make a statement. I mean, I believe he's the best featherweight on planet. Gary Russell's and you know, all your other featherweights, 3 other world champions, send this fight down. Sofiane took this fight in a breath. There were no, we'll think about it, there were no negativity. He jumped at the opportunity to become a world champion. But he's got to come and he's got to rip that away. He's got to come and he's got to rip it away. And I think he's, you know, that's what he's about. I've seen a little bit of him. There's a lot of things that have gone missing off social media. But I do know about him. We've had a look at him. We've studied him. He's a very, very good fighter. And so anybody who says he's an easy fight is completely the opposite to an easy fight. He's got a good knockout percentage, 35 fights. 2 of his 3 losses have been dubious, and he's on a 6-fight unbeaten run. That tells me he's not a bad fighter. We've had to prepare for everything that he's going to bring to the table, and that's what we've done. So Saturday night we're looking to make a statement to prove that we are the best featherweight on planet.
He's a southpaw, guys. How much of a problem is that?
Like I say, we've learned a lot from that last fight. I think a big issue in that last fight is with all the bad mouthing and the bad talk between Josh and Barry Galahad. I think what happened was we took his eye off the job in hand, and he just wanted to beat him up so badly, trying too hard.
I think he's been, the last fight, he won the last fight. He didn't get beat, he won the last
That's
fight.
it, yeah.
And it takes two to make a fight. And his tactics were to come and nick it, not to win it, not to come in there and stand and have a fight. He was trying to nick it. And the referee, I don't think, got it right. He should have took dock points. It would have been a different fight. But he won it. And that's what champions do. They win. They keep winning. They keep winning. And that's what he did against a guy, we didn't want the fight. Let's get it right. No one wanted it. We all knew it was going to be a pain in the arse defence, and we got stuck with it. So that's what it was. He won the fight, done what he had to do. He is the best featherweight on the planet. There's no doubt about it. And if he was so bad last time out, then why didn't Santa Cruz or Valdez want to fight him? They were offered big money to fight him. That's all you need to look at. And we're here now fighting the best available contender in the IBF ratings. That's who he's fighting. And you can't take it for granted. This fella's not here, as I say, to make up the numbers. Here come to fight. But you know what? He is something special. Leeds have got a special champion here. And years to come, they're gonna. I know you appreciate him, but you're going to really appreciate him for what he is, because he can unify these titles if we can make the fights. But first of all, as he said himself, he can't take his eye off the ball. This guy's standing in front of him, and he's got to dispose of him, and he's got to do it in style, and that's what it's all about on Saturday.
Well, I'm sure that Sofiane will see a very, very different outcome to that. Tell us how you're feeling with the big fight approaching, Sofiane. Yeah, you can speak French.
Can you speak English? Oh, he said in French. Can you speak English?
No, he doesn't.
Those two words. Right, let's go.
So how do you feel coming up to the big fight? Tell us about your preparations and how you feel about fighting Josh Warrington.
Bataille pour affronter Josh Warrington. Ça va, je me sens bien. I feel good. I'm good. Je suis bien entraîné. I've been practicing a lot for this. Dans les meilleures conditions que je pouvais avec mes moyens. With the best conditions that I had in hand. Et voilà, j'espère offrir un bon spectacle. And I hope I can show up for a good match. I can do the best of me.
Hold the mic up to you.
How do you rate Josh as a boxer?
Comment vous évaluez Joshua en tant que boxeur? C'est un beau champion. He's a good champion. Mais voilà, ça me faire la différence chez lui. I need to make the difference. I need to create an impact. Pour être vainqueur. Pour être vainqueur. In order to win.
Can you hear this, guys? Right.
Okay.
Let's
Can you
get
shout?
the microphone. Move up.
That's what
Come in.
excuse John.
Boxer, talk to the one on the table. Interpreter, talk to that one. Talk to the one in your hand.
Hold it to your mouth.
Can you hear now? Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good. Okay, let's go.
Right, so what would it mean to you to win the title? How would it change your life?
Si vous gagnez cette bataille, comment ça va changer votre vie? Ça va tout changer dans ma vie. It will change everything. Je me ferai un nom dans la boxe.
Mary's going to win.
I will create my own reputation, my own name in the box industry.
Et voilà, mes enfants seraient fiers de moi.
My children will be proud of me
Et mon pays.
and my country, of course.
Sofiane, how do you beat Josh Warrington where all those in the past have failed? How do you beat him?
Comment pensez-vous que vous pouvez battre Joshua alors que les autres combattants ils n'ont pas réussi à faire?
Je sais le sais.
I know it.
You know it, but how?
Vous savez, mais comment?
Croyant, je crois en ma foi.
I believe in myself.
Si j'étais mis sur sa route, c'est pour que je fais ce que je peux.
If I am on his way, it's because I'm ready to fight, and this is what I'm going to do.
What about the crowd? Josh, as ever, that's going to give you a bit of an advantage, isn't it?
Qu'est-ce que vous pensez?
It's always a boost. Going a bit serious now, aren't we? Man, a few words is Sofiane.
He's ready.
He's ready, yeah. I'm not too confident it's French. I mean, it's meant to be French. It's almost as good as mine. Je m'appelle Josh, I beat to Leeds. I got a C with that. Listen, I think not only the last fight being a motivation, I think we're dwelling a little bit too much on that, but I realise that the things what he said there, he can be an hero. He can go back home, a hero. You know, he's turned his career around instantly by beating me. So I can't let that happen. And I can understand as a world champion how fighters can overlook other fighters, how fighters can get complacent, you know, how fighters can just go through the motion through camp. But I don't let that happen. I don't let that happen for a number of reasons. First of all, I know that he would have been given absolutely everything in the last 11 weeks, 12 weeks to put him in the best opportunity to try win this title. Secondly, we're on a mission. You know, we have talked about unifications, and although I said I'm not letting that be a distraction, for me to carry on going, to keep on climbing the rankings, I've got to win. Boxing's a crazy game of snakes and ladders with very few ladders and many snakes. And you roll your dice. You win, you lose. You win, you take another step forward, and ultimately you march towards titles, world titles, unification fights. But you lose, you take a backward step, and then you could have a slippery slope down that snake, and it could take you years to get back. And I am prepared to do that at this moment in time. I've worked far too hard, sacrificed far too much to stop right now. Let's have it right. If you take away 2018, people will have said this is a 50-50 fight for me. Just because of the way I came through winning the world title against Selby and Frampton, all of a sudden it's a walkover. But my mentality won't let it be that I'm just walking in there and it's an instant win, because I know and I've experienced enough. There's a man in opposite corner, he's got two arms and he's going to try and hurt me. And I've got to keep hold of that title by training hard, sacrifice and turning up on the night. And not only do I want to just win, I mean, first and foremost, winning is the most important, getting that W, but if I'm sending a message out to the rest of the division and to make myself as a solid world champion, then I beat him in style.
Thank you very much, Josh. Well, final words, Frank. I mean, listening to Josh and hearing him speaking to his public, he's still very much the man of the people, isn't he? I mean, he leads through and through, and he has an ability to connect with the public, and that makes him special, or one of the things that makes him very special.
That's right. It's because he's not left his roots. His feet are on the floor, and he's not become big-headed about anything, as I've seen with so many champions. He's a man of the people. He's a great guy to be around, and most importantly, he's a great boxer. He's a great fighter, and he can go on to be one of the best fighters of his generation.
We'll do photographs for you, head-to-heads, once we've cleared the table, and anybody who wants interviews as well, all the guys will be available for that. But in the meantime, are there any questions from the floor for the lads who are here? Any questions? If so, fire them up. Yeah.
Well, as we just said, the two of them just went up in weight, didn't they? They went up to do it, but somebody replaced them. Or, who knows, if Josh comes through this fight, as we hope he will, maybe he moves up. We'll make them happen. They will happen, these fights. It's up to us to make them happen. But he's got to get up past this guy first.
Any more?
I'll just add to that by saying that you work throughout your career aiming and striving to be the very best you can. And you get to the top of the tree, world champion, and you would have thought that the other champions would want to put it on the line. Sports like UFC have grown very, very popular in recent years because the sea fighters put it on the line. For myself, getting to becoming a world champion, I'm not wanting to string it out as long as possible. I'm in the boxing game to be part of the big nights, the big fights, the big occasions, and make the memories. So any of the other champions, obviously the two of the belts are vacant now, or any of the big fights, that's all I want to be a part of it. Don't want to be in boxing forever. I just, like I say, want to be part of the big occasions, the big nights, the nights where people will talk about them for years to come, the nights like May 19th, the nights like over in Manchester with Carl Frampton. That's what it's about, making the memories. And you know, the fans who've been supporting me from day one, you know, they get to enjoy that as well.
And we got to deliver it.
I don't know whether you
No pressure, Frank.
would be aware of this. I don't know whether you've all picked it up, but that fight, Carl against Frampton, was named by the British Boxing Board of Control as their fight of the year. I mean, we said at the time that it was something very, very special, and it's nice that that's been recognised.
It's about time as well. You know, it was, and I thought he was fighter of the year as well. And people sound biased. If it's fighter of the year, then he's got to be fighter of the year. That's how it is, and he's been tremendous. He's been a tremendous competitor and fought at the highest level, mandatories and 2 quality names, top fighters in Carl Frampton and Lee Selby, and won the fights and won them well.
Right, any more questions from the floor?
Yeah, I've got one.
Yeah, go on.
So there's not a lot of footage of Sofiane Takoucht online. If you do a YouTube search, it just comes up with Josh talking about him. So how difficult has it been to prepare for someone like that?
What we've done, or what I've done, to be honest with you, is I've gone back into amateurs. There's quite a lot in amateurs there. I've also looked at fighters that he's trainer. Fighters that he's fought, there's not a great deal on there now, they kind of all disappeared. But I've looked more at his trainer and looked at his training methods and way he goes about things. That's given me a pretty good idea of how they're going to approach this fight on Saturday. When I say we've left no stone unturned, then I genuinely mean that. So Saturday night, what I've just said there, you'll see, that's exactly what we've done, because we are going to do it, we're going to do it in style. Honestly, straight to it, business done, and then we move on again.
Master plan. There you go.
There you go.
I think going back to John's original question when he mentioned that he's southpaw, yeah, he's a southpaw, but I think if you get to world level, you will have come up against many southpaws throughout your career, and you know, I have over the different years, you know, likes of Brendan Monroe, Dennis Tebedon, you know, you can count some Eminem as a switcher to, but I've dealt with him, and you know, end of the day, it's just another man stood in front of me, so we've prepared really well for this one, believe me.
Nick?
I was just going to say that...
Oh, not you, Nick.
Parking
meter.
We've got to be out for 5, Nick.
I was just about to give you credit, actually. Listen, at the end of the day, forget about the joking and the joviality. I'd like to say, Sean O'Hagan, well done, mate. You should have been the trainer of the year, because for what you've done with Josh Warrington,
Oh, it's a darling, isn't it? Thank you, Nick.
He likes a good kebab.
I like a kebab. Thank you for that, Nicky. You've just got your set of eyes there. I'm supposed to tell them that bit, Nick.
Right, anybody else? Yep, no, all done?
Let's do heritage.
Right, photographs then. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming down, and make sure you're there on Saturday night. There's still a few tickets available.